Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. There's even a brand new Brigadier General tier where you can get a shout out on a Commander's Quarters episode that's dedicated to you. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. Good morning! Innistrad Crimson Vow spoiler season day 2 has begun. One coffee down already, and one probably on the way here in a little bit, but yeah, I'm excited for today, and yesterday we saw a lot of exciting new things, including a brand new mechanic with Cleave. So if you haven't seen that episode and that amazing card with Dig Up, make sure you check that one out. And speaking of amazing, how about a new commander with Olivia Crimson Bride? So yeah, make sure you check that episode out on the brand new Olivia. And we even have a brand new legendary frog with Gralnock the Omnivore. And I asked the question on this episode, is this Gitrog's brother? Yeah, I'm really not sure, but what I do know is that this is an exciting new commander and it's actually really powerful. But this episode is not on a legendary frog, it is on a card that I am urging you not to sleep on with Demonic Bargain. So what is this card, what does it do, and why do I think a lot of commander players are going to sleep on this? Well, let's jump into it to find out. So Demonic Bargain, first off, has some incredible art, and anyways, it's a sorcery that costs 2 and a black, and it says, exile the top 13 cards of your library, then search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, then shuffle. So this is a very unique and I think a very well-designed card. So we've got a 3-mana tutor, and yeah, we'll talk about converted mana costs and other tutors here in a bit, but yeah, a 3-mana tutor is a really good rate, in fact, a fantastic rate, but there is a price to that. Because before you actually get to tutor for the card that you want, well, you've got to exile the top 13 cards of your library. And yeah, there's kind of some risk to that. Now, again, the reason I think that many players might sleep on this card is because, well, that risk might not be worth it to them, or the perceived risk. First off, let's just say, yes, you are looking for a very specific card. You need exactly one card in your deck, and you need that in your hand. If you were to cast this and say have, 80 cards left in your deck, what's the chance that you actually lose out on that card by exiling it? Now, I'm no mathematician, and I very well might mess this up, but I think the math is pretty simple here. 13 over 80, around what? A 16-ish% chance that you actually end up hitting that card in the top 13 and losing out on it. So what? You've got an 84 or 83 or so % chance of basically getting the exact card that you want. So yes, if you want a combo piece or something incredibly specific and you end up losing out on that, yeah, that's not gonna feel great. But again, that's not really gonna happen all that often. And actually, let's say that you're looking for one of 2 cards, then obviously the percentage chance goes down even further that you end up losing out on both of them out of the top 13 cards of your library. That being said, would I recommend this card for a very specific combo deck that's looking to win essentially the exact same way every time, and if you lose out on a specific card, you just lose the game? No. Because in that case, obviously, this could be a 3-mana I lose the game card if you happen to lose out on one of your combo pieces, and, you know, the rest of your deck just doesn't really function without them. But for the vast majority of decks that aren't looking to win with a very specific combo, this is a 3-mana tutor that, yeah, might get rid of 13 miscellaneous cards off the top of your library, but it can get you basically whatever you need. Again, with Commander being a singleton format, obviously we can't have multiple copies of a card, you know, outside of like Shadowborn Apostles and Seven Dwarves. Okay, there's a couple, but regardless, we can't have multiple copies of a card, but we can have multiple cards that essentially do the exact same thing, and a lot of decks basically do that. Again, with the card pool in Commander, you've got a massive selection of cards, and yeah, there are some cards that essentially or actually do the exact same thing, or ones that are basically very similar. We'll get to some examples here in a bit, but yeah, if you're looking to tutor for, say, a Wrath for the situation that you're in, or some sort of removal, you're gonna have multiple cards that will work for that situation, and chances are incredibly slim that you're going to lose out on every single one of them out of the top 13 cards in your library. Again, there might be 5 cards in your deck that will work for the situation that you're in, and yeah, your percentage chance of hitting every single one of those 5 cards in the top 13 cards of your library and losing out on all of them is essentially next to nothing. Again, mathematicians, help me out in the comments with the exact percentage if you would like to. But again, because of this potential perception that you might just lose out on the card that you want with this tutor, some people are going to sleep on this card, and I definitely don't think you should be sleeping on a 3-mana tutor, even if it's got a slight downside like this. Regardless, there's a somewhat similar card to this one that this one reminded me of, so let's talk about that one really quick, then we'll talk about tutor comparisons. And that card would be Diminishing Returns. It's a sorcery for 2 blue, and it says each player shuffles their hand and graveyard in their library. You exile the top 10 cards of your library, then each player draws up to 7 cards. So this one works in a somewhat similar fashion, basically being a, time twister for 1 more, essentially. That does have the downside that you exile the top 10 cards of your library. It does have the upside, though, that unlike Time Twister, it's not going to cost you $7,000. Regardless, this one does not see all that much play in Commander, but on the other hand, neither does Time Reversal, which is 1 mana more, and essentially, again, doesn't lose you the top 10 cards of your library, but does the exact same thing as Time Twister. Actually, except for exiling itself. Yeah, there's a reason that Time Twister is a $7,000 card. Regardless, again, in comparing Diminishing Returns and Time Reversal, you're essentially getting the exact same effect with a minor downside, which again, won't work for specific combo decks or whatnot, but you're paying less mana. So we have seen this effect on a card before, but again, tutors see a lot more play than a card like Time Reversal, and now let's talk about exactly what kinds of tutors this new tutor is comparable to. And when it comes to comparing Demonic Bargain to certain cards, I of course am going to bring up Demonic Tutor and Diabolic Tutor first. It's actually really interesting to see this kind of a comparison when it comes to also talking about Time Twister again in Diminishing Returns and Time Reversal, because Demonic Bargain kind of plays the exact same role. Demonic Tutor, which of course is the best tutor essentially in Commander, a sorcery for 1 into black that lets you get any card in your library, and yeah, that's basically it. No downside, no restrictions, just hey, 2 mana, whatever you want. There's a reason this card is banned in Legacy, restricted in Vintage, and yeah, is legal in Commander, but it would be a lot more expensive than it is if it didn't keep getting reprinted, which luckily it has been for people that actually want to play it. And actually, even with all of its reprints, its price is still over $30. And even with its price being that high, this card sees play in 30% of eligible decks, which is absolutely insane. I mean, really quick again, according to EDH Rec, this card is the 19th most played card in Commander, again, percentage-wise. And then there's Diabolic Tutor, which is a strictly worse version of Demonic Tutor, literally costing twice as much essentially in every way, right? 2 black, does the exact same thing. And even though it's a strictly worse version, it still sees play in 12% of eligible decks, which is a ton. With that percentage, again, it's in about the top 150 cards or so on EDH Rec. And yeah, obviously this is a much more budget-friendly version of Demonic Tutor, but yeah, still seeing a ton of play, even though it's obviously a lesser version of Demonic Tutor costing twice as much. So again, mana-wise, Demonic Bargain fits in right between these 2 cards. Obviously, it's nowhere near as good as the $30 Demonic Tutor, which is 2 mana, no downside, tutor. But might it be better than, again, a top 150 card in Commander with Diabolic Tutor? Maybe. Again, if you do need a very specific combo piece, no, probably not. Again, that percentage chance of losing out on that card and just basically losing the game then and there for casting a tutor is probably not worth it for those decks. You're going to want to pay that 1 extra mana for that. But for decks that have multiple cards that will essentially function the exact same, and you just basically, okay, right now I need a Wrath, right? I need a removal spell. I'm going to go tutor for that. I've got a couple of cards in the deck that can actually work. You're not going to lose out on every single one of them. Or, okay, if you do, I am sorry, but again, the percentage chance is incredibly low. And obviously, the casting cost of Demonic Bargain is much less restrictive than Diabolic Tutor, having 1 less pip in it. And yeah, obviously, cheaper, a 3-mana tutor is vastly superior to a 4-mana tutor. I mean, obviously, another comparable card to Demonic Bargain would be Grim Tutor. Grim Tutor is a sorcery for 1 black, and it says search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, then shuffle your library, you lose 3 life. Now, really quick, Grim Tutor actually used to be incredibly expensive. I'm talking about even more expensive than Demonic Tutor. But it was finally reprinted in M21 and its price has dropped, well, significantly from where it was, but it's still a $15 card. Now, according to EDHREC, this currently sees play in 6% of eligible decks, but obviously that number has been increasing ever since it's been reprinted, and it's just going to keep going up essentially as long as this price stays where it's at, and of course if it's reprinted again, it's going to go up even further. So again, Grim Tutor obviously kind of lives again in between the Demonic Tutor and the Diabolic Tutor, being at 3 mana with a minor downside. Now, for most decks, you'd probably rather lose 3 life than the top 13 cards of your library. That being said, in comparison to Demonic Bargain, this one does have a more restrictive casting cost. And again, in comparison, much like Diabolic Tutor compared to Demonic Tutor, Grim Tutor is probably going to be more expensive than this new Demonic Bargain. In fact, again, because I think many people are going to be sleeping on Demonic Bargain, I think it's going to be a decently budget tutor. And again, I am urging you, if you are looking for a tutor and you don't have a specific combo that you're looking for to your deck, you just need it for, okay, hey, I need blank card or blank kind of card for the situation that I'm in, it's going to be effective. So, yeah, again, if you're running, Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal combo, and that's the only way that your deck wins, is this tutor going to be effective? No. I mean, it'll be effective 4 out of every 5 times, or potentially even more, but, essentially just casting it can lose you the game if you only have one way to win, and it's this very specific combo. But yeah, if you've got multiple ways for your deck to combo, or, if you're not even going to be comboing in your deck, but just want a tutor that can help you out, again, situationally, it can be really effective. Again, if you need to get rid of an artifact or enchantment, and you've got, 5 options in your deck like Frozen Grip, Unravel the Aether, Declaimer, Nature's Claim, and Return to Nature, it really doesn't matter if you lose, 1 or 2 of these off the top of your deck. You're going to be able to get another one of them to actually remove whatever you need to remove. So again, as long as you've got multiple cards that essentially do the exact same thing, again, which you usually do for targeted removal or for wraths, you're going to be okay. And again, for that one time out of 1,000 or whatever number it is that, you happen to lose every single removal spell from your deck out of those top 13 cards in your library, I'm sorry, but that percentage chance is incredibly low. Again, mathematicians, please help me out in the comments below if you'd like to. But yeah, again, if you need to get rid of all the creatures on the board and just wrath things, well, it doesn't really matter if you go get your Vanquish the Horde or Sublime Exhalation or Fumigate or Wrath of God or Day of Judgment. Any of them are going to do the job, essentially the exact same way. Now, might you prefer Vanquish the Horde if there's a ton of creatures on the board and it only costs 2 mana? Sure, but if it's in the top 13 cards of your library, that's still okay. You can just go get another Wrath and Wrath the board. It's going to work the same. So yeah, again, although losing out on the top 13 cards of your deck permanently is a downside, as long as you've got multiple cards in your deck that essentially do the exact same thing, it's going to be okay. And in fact, again, a 3-mana tutor is going to be more than okay. So yeah, overall, I think that many players are going to sleep on Demonic Bargain because, again, that perception that you're just going to lose out on the exact card that you want. Percentage-wise, again, you're likely to get the exact card that you want a good amount of the time. Again, if my calculations are correct, with 80 cards left in your library, about 83% of the time, you're going to be fine. And again, even if you do lose out on that exact card, if there are other cards in the deck that essentially can help you out in that same situation, again, whether that's a Wrath or target removal or whatnot, or whatever you need for the situation that you're in, you're going to be able to get one of those cards. Now, will there be that 1 out of 1,000 scenario that ends up happening where you lose out on all your target removal or all your Wraths? Yeah, sure, but that percentage chance is incredibly unlikely. So again, this is a 3-mana tutor, which again, yes, does have a downside, but it is a minor downside for decks that aren't looking to specifically combo with, very specific cards. It obviously is nowhere near as good as Demonic Tutor, which again, no other tutor essentially is anyways, but yeah, for a lot of decks out there, this could be better than Diabolic Tutor, which again, according to EDHREC, is basically a top 150 card in Commander. So again, although this 3-mana tutor does have a downside, I am urging you not to sleep on it. But yeah, I think that many players out there might sleep on this card, and if that happens, well, it could be a very budget-friendly card, and you know what? That's okay too. And with that, the show is coming to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So in the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on this episode are, and as always, thanks again, and have a good one.